Ladies and gentlemen, good morning and welcome back to our channel once again. And it is my hope and prayer that the video is going to find you guys in good health. Personally, I am fine, as you can see. Kisumu is fantastic, and maybe you could also let me know where you are watching the video from. The county or the country, in case you are out of the republic. Ladies and gentlemen, for those who have been watching this channel for some time now, I've made one thing very clear. That the fallout between Rigathi Gachagua and William Ruto was actually going to be worse than the fallout we witnessed between William Ruto and the former President Uhuru Kenyatta. Let me add something today, and I want you to note it. That one of them, either Rigathi Gachagua or William Ruto, will have to give way for the other. I hope you've understood my point.
Report to who? These are the same people who want to kill me. How do you report to the people who are planning to poison your mind so that the brain can be paralyzed and then you become a vegetable? I cannot report. And I wrote to the Inspector General of Police and the Director of Criminal Investigations. Instead of answering the issues I addressed, told me to report to the next police station. Yet all these things have happened under the cover of the police. So it is useless to go and report to the police. That is why I'm talking to the people of Kenya, so that if anything happens to me, President William Ruto must be held accountable. And I want to say, when they hounded me out of office, I pleaded with my supporters to stay calm and express their displeasure by singing. That is no longer going to be the case. And my supporters have blamed me for not allowing them to stand up to intimidation and the wrong things that are being done against their leaders. Therefore, our supporters are on high alert, and they will be part of the leadership and ourselves who will be resisting impunity and intimidation by William Ruto and the government.
Yesterday, Rigathi Gachagua addressed the press, and Rigathi Gachagua dropped bombshell during that address. According to Rigathi Gachagua, William Ruto has deployed highly trained killer squad to eliminate him using some slow-acting poison.
The killer squad was joined by their counterparts who are highly trained in the use of biological weapons. Their instructions were to poison me through inhaled chemicals that would paralyze my brain within 3 months. This was the intent and the purpose of the whole operation.
Ladies and gentlemen, I've always maintained on this platform that in politics, nothing happens out of mere coincidence. And that everything in politics is normally well planned, well scripted, and executed to achieve a specific political objective. Nothing in politics just happens for the sake of it. Why do you think Rigathi Gachagua decided to make those wild accusations? Because for me, I expect the government to arrest Rigathi Gachagua today. If they won't arrest Rigathi Gachagua today, then it would mean that they fear Rigathi Gachagua, or maybe what Rigathi Gachagua is saying is actually the truth. Ladies and gentlemen, in this video, I want us to do that critical analysis. Before we do it, for those who are watching this channel for the first time, please take a second or two, click that subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support, because without that support, this channel cannot be where it is. Ladies and gentlemen, let us dive in. I paid very close attention to that statement by Rigathi Gachagua. And for me, the most important part of that statement is actually the first 3 minutes, actually 2 minutes, 30 seconds there. Let us listen to Rigathi Gachagua, because Rigathi Gachagua is stating something very important, that William Ruto wants to deal with him once and for all, because the goons have failed.
Monday the 18th, May 2025, I received intelligence reports that President William Ruto had ordered that I be dealt with once and for all.
So from that part, Rigathi Gachagua is trying to allege that initially they had planned to use the goons to attack him, but the goons have failed. In fact, for those who remember when Rigathi Gachagua was unveiling his party, goons invaded the event and his security actually fired. And I remember that caused a lot of worry and panic. And Rigathi Gachagua is now suggesting that after the goons failed, a new information has been now communicated to the police through the IG, through to NIS through the Director General, and to the DCI by Murkomen.
And since the goons sponsored by the state on several occasions had failed, police and other state security agencies had to come in. At about 11 a.m., same Sunday, 18th May 2025, this information was communicated to the Inspector General of Police, the Director General of the National Intelligence Service, and the Director of Criminal Investigations by the CS Interior Kipchumba Murkomen, and consequently, a killer squad composed of 101 lethal and dreaded officers from the administration police and seconded to the National Intelligence Service, accompanied by officers from the DCI, the Anti-Terrorism Police Unit, the General Service Unit, and the regular police were deployed.
And according to him, he was supposed to be poisoned so that he can die slowly in the next 3 months. Ladies and gentlemen, he's concluding that was the intent and purpose of security scare on him on Sunday.
This killer squad have been carrying out extrajudicial killings and abductions. Yesterday, they were mobilized and cordoned off and blocked all exits from Gatanga constituency. This squad was armed to the teeth and hooded and with masks to conceal their identity because of the heinous acts they wanted to commit on us. This is despite that there are existing guidelines from the High Court that officers should be in uniform and not conceal their identity. At about 2:30 p.m., we received further intelligence from the deployed patriotic officers who are not in agreement with the information that they had clear instructions to plant arms and weapons in our convoy to provide evidence to arrest us and get evidence that they could charge us with in court. After about 30 minutes, the killer squad was joined by their counterparts who are highly trained in the use of biological weapons. Their instructions were to poison me through inhaled chemicals that would paralyze my brain within 3 months. This was the intent and the purpose of the whole operation. My team and I sought alternative routes as guided by the deployed security personnel, majority of whom are our supporters and opposed to what is going on.
Ladies and gentlemen, because we are in politics, we need to understand the objectives which Rigathi Gachagua wanted to achieve through that statement. Number one, I think Rigathi Gachagua is preempting his arrest. And the other day, yesterday actually, I was asking you guys, what do you think can happen if Rigathi Gachagua were to be arrested? Because Rigathi Gachagua had commanded Murang'a people to go to the street should Natembeya be arrested. Natembeya was arrested. We never saw anything happening in Murang'a.
Tumepata habari ile governor Trans Nzoia anaitwa George Natembeya ati wanataka kushika yeye. Mimi namwambia watu wangu hapa Murang'a, wakishika Natembeya hata sisi tutafuka barabara tusimamishe hii Kenya. Tumekubaliana. Unajua.
But of course yesterday we saw something in Githurai which begs the question. Can William Ruto dare arrest Rigathi Gachagua? Can he dare do that? So for me, that's the most important thing. That Rigathi Gachagua suspect that he might be arrested. So he's moving ahead with information. Number two, I'm also looking at this as part of Rigathi Gachagua's strategy of applying William Ruto's playbook, which William Ruto applied on Uhuru Kenyatta. I don't want to go further. Let me just explain this by playing for you this clip of William Ruto accusing Uhuru Kenyatta of planning to harm him and his family. So I think Rigathi Gachagua is just playing that, is just trying to follow William Ruto's playbook. Remember, the other day he was on Obina TV. William Ruto also, when he began his campaign, was hosted by Jalango. Listen.
Nataka nimuombe rais wetu wa Kenya, tafadhali bwana rais, you shouldn't be the source of threats in Kenya. Wacha kutisha wa Kenya. Kazi yako ni kuhakikisha ya kwamba Wakenya wote wako salama. Wacha kutuambia ya kwamba tutakujua wewe ni rais. Sisi ndio tulikuchagua na tulikuchagua uwe rais wa Kenya. Wacha kututisha. Sisi hapana watu wa kutishwa. Kweli ama si kweli? Kweli ama si kweli? Tunaelewana? Na mimi nataka nimwambie rais, wacha kuniletea maneno my friend. Wewe sukuma candidate yako bwana kitendawili. Unaniongelea nini? Sijui kama tunaelewana. Mr. President, please stop talking about me. Talk about your candidate. Tunaelewana? Mtu waambie wewe rais, utuambie huyu mtu wa kitendawili atawacha kungoa reli lini? Atawacha kujiapisha lini? Atawacha kuvuruga Kenya lini? Atawacha mambo ya violence lini? Na utuambie agenda ya huyo jamaa. Wachana na William Ruto. I supported you when you needed a man to support you. If you do not want to support me, leave me alone. Ni kweli ama si kweli? Yes. Yeah. And please, tuko pamoja bwana? Tunaelewana? Yes. With a lot of respect. Sijui kama tunaelewana. With a lot of respect, my friend, Mr. President. Please, be a decent human being. Kuwa muungwana. Kuwa na shukurani. Sisi ndio tulikusaidia. Wacha kujifanya saizi eti sijui unajifanya nini. Please, ama niaje my friend. Sasa eti wewe sasa unaanza kunithreaten mimi. Ati utanifanya nini? Bora usiue watoto wangu. Lakini mimi.
Number 3, I'm looking at Rigathi Gachagua as someone who is out to win the sympathy of his supporters. There's one thing which is not very clear, that William Ruto made a big mistake by impeaching Rigathi Gachagua. He would have stayed with Rigathi Gachagua as a necessary devil within his camp until election time. But Rigathi is trying to seek sympathy of his supporters. That, you know, this guy impeached me. In fact, when he was impeached, he played that sympathy card so well to an extent that the entire Mount Kenya followed him. Now he's playing another sympathy that this guy wants to eliminate me. And he wants to use poison to eliminate me. Remember, we are talking at a time when we've witnessed political assassinations, abductions, and so many bad things happening during William Ruto's rule. So I think he's keen on winning the sympathy of his people. And number 4, which is also very important, is that Rigathi Gachagua is playing 2027 politics. I don't know how William Ruto will come back to some of these Rigathi Gachaguas strategies. But Rigathi Gachagua is very good in communication. He has his party. He's trying so hard to be on the limelight. What is he trying to do? He's trying to put William Ruto to his defense, so that William Ruto will now be defending rather than setting the agenda. So for me, Rigathi is already campaigning for 2027. I'm not so sure whether Rigathi is also playing into the trap of William Ruto, but what I know is that at the end of the day, Rigathi Gachagua is going to be so popular that he might not allow any other person to run other than himself. And lastly, Rigathi is using this as a strategy to actually incite the mountain. And that's how you can actually look at what happened in Githurai yesterday. Ladies and gentlemen, until next time, this is Makwiny. Bye-bye.